Caroline, the Green Party's planning to spend a fairly significant amount of money as well, isn't it?
We are, but I would absolutely agree with Zanny, first of all, that we are upfront about it. We're not embarrassed to say that, for example, on our Green New Deal, we want to spend £100 billion a year for the next 10 years, because this is the greatest threat that we face. A Green New Deal would be there in order to put a massive investment in green energy, energy efficiency and so forth, in order to get us off the collision course that we're on with climate catastrophe. And I think...
And how are you going to raise that money?
We're going to borrow around 90 billion of it, and the reason we're going to borrow it is because when you're investing in assets, in good, positive assets that will create the jobs, then you're actually supporting the economy, and you will actually find that it will pay for itself over time with the new jobs that are created and the tax that comes back into the revenue. And I think we need to have a really honest debate about how much of the...
Zanny's looking very sceptical next to you, Carl. She's shaking her head, I've got to tell you.
Let me just finish my point, because it is the greatest threat that we face, and if we're not going to rise to the climate crisis now, then it will be too late, and we know that. And at moments of, great need, we need to rise to that challenge and put that finance there. And I don't quite know how we're going to explain to future generations, to our kids and their kids, really sorry that your planet is completely trashed, but we couldn't afford to sort it out. Of course we can. We could afford to sort out the banks. We bailed out the banks when that was a problem, and no one batted an eyelid, frankly, about the amount of money that went into that. When it's the future of our planet that is at stake, we need to rise to the challenge and put that money in there. But the bottom line is, be honest about it. I agree with you. I think it was a bit odd that Labour was sort of hiding the changes to the marriage tax allowance. I don't know why you would do that, because you could have just said, yes, people on a marriage tax allowance are going to pay more, but actually, overall, they're going to be better off, so we're going to be proud and say that. I think our whole discourse about tax has become incredibly embarrassed. We don't want to talk about it. Fair tax is actually something that we should be quite pleased to talk about. It should be the price that we pay to be part of a civilised society. There are things that we can buy working together that we can't buy on our own. So let's have that mature debate, let's put it on the table, and let's recognise that if we don't actually spend some significant money at this election, it will be too late as far as the climate is concerned.
Zanny, very briefly, you wanted to come back in, and then I'd like to go to the audience.
Just a 2-second fact-check addition to that, which is that what you've explained is what you're going to spend on your capital spending. You're also promising to spend something like 150 billion a year, almost twice as much as Labour, on current spending.
Yes.
Which is I just thought you were not being entirely honest on quite how much spending you're... The Green Party's proposals are way, way, way more spending than anybody else. Substantially more, almost double more. So if you think Labour is recklessly spending, Green Party is going to spend almost twice as much. Just worth making clear.
But we're certainly not hiding that, because the kinds of things that it's going to go on is going to be, for example, a citizen's income, a basic income that will pay everybody as of right, £89
All right, Caroline,
a week.
I've given you a long time to say about what